New this morning, that famous Toledo Christmas weed has been stolen. We have video you'll only see on 13 ABC.
And he rolled his window up, he stomped on the gas, veered directly towards me.
A local sheriff deputy off the job this morning, accused of running someone over with his car. And this video sparking a debate. How far is too far when it comes to protecting yourself or your property?
This is 13 ABC Action News Good Morning with Sasha Bray and Jeff Smith.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is Friday, December 28th. Thanks so much for waking up with us. I'm McKenzie. Kuehnlein, Jeff and Sasha have the day off. We want to get you started with a check of your weather, and it is a muggy morning out there, but you're going to need that coat probably later on. Let's check in with meteorologist Ross Ellet. And Ross, don't keep that winter coat too far away is what you're saying all morning.
Yeah, you don't have to put it on this morning. Just take it with you if you're going to be out late today, because you're going to want it later on. The winds will be up, the temperatures will be dropping, but this morning, fantastic. 53 to 54 degrees in most spots right now. Doppler is showing a little bit of light rain. This is all to the east here of I-75. Some of those showers continue from Tiffin, just to the east of Upper Sandusky, Norwalk, and Willard, seeing just a little bit of that light rain there. You see 224 and some showers right along the highway as well. Temperature right now 53 in Toledo, the same at Bowling Green, Findlay, Fremont, and Port Clinton, all at 54. And Bryan's the coldest spot in the area, still at 50 degrees. Our average low this time of the year is 20, and we're starting off in the 50s. We'll get up to 57 at about noon today, but then within an hour we drop to 54 and 46 by 5 o'clock. Winds gusting to 30 miles per hour, so it is going to turn colder later today. Some chance of a shower early on, but we'll talk more about some rain on the final day of 2018 coming up here in a few more minutes. Right now, let's go over to Heather with a look at your Contrada Law time saver traffic.
Thank you, Ross. Yeah, still crash free for your Friday morning. I've been checking in with Lucas and Wood County dispatchers, also the Toledo Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol, all of them reporting zero trouble spots if you're heading out in the next couple of minutes. A closer look, I-75 right at Bancroft with the cameras here provided by ODOT. You can see traffic in both directions moving nice and smoothly for us this morning. Farther south on I-75 down into Wood County, this is right at US 6 just south of Bowling Green. North and southbound traffic down here not looking too bad either. Just keep in mind roads are still wet this morning, so use some extra caution out there. That's a check your Contrada Law time saver traffic.
Well, all morning long we've been telling you that the Toledo Christmas weed wasn't supposed to come down until tomorrow, but this morning someone took it, and 13 ABC caught the act on video. 13 ABC's Michael Bratton was there. He witnessed it. Michael, what can you tell us?
Well, Kenzie, as you just mentioned, today was supposed to be the final day to come out here and get your last glimpse and look at the Toledo Christmas weed. But as it stands, we were out here, of course, trying to tell you about that. And myself and photographer Rich Graytop, we were sitting in our live truck, saw a gentleman pull up to the weed and then grab it and some other items, toss it in his trunk, and then take off. Take a look at some of this video. Our photographer here, quick with the camera, caught it all on tape, if it were, here this morning. As again, we were just sitting in our live truck, saw it happen, really couldn't understand what was happening at the time, and then of course came to realize after we walked out there that that man did indeed take the Christmas weed. So if you were going to come out here and hoping to get a picture for one last time, unfortunately that is gone. But the gifts and items and maybe the Christmas spirit, the holiday spirit, still out here at the corner of Alexis and Secor. Tomorrow some local Boy Scouts are set to be out here to clean everything up, including all these gifts and items that are out here. Any charitable donations that are left out here are set to be given to local charities and organizations in the area that partnered with the Christmas weed to begin with from the get-go. Of course, if you remember, the Christmas weed started out about the week before Christmas here with a man putting tinsel on it. It took off, gained national attention, had its own t-shirts, ornaments, things like that. Unfortunately, it is gone this morning after someone took it. So if you want to come out here and check it out for yourself, you have today to do that, because tomorrow all of it is set to be cleaned up. McKenzie, back to you.
Well, this morning, a Lucas County Sheriff's deputy is off the job. He's accused of hitting a man with his car on purpose and then taking off. Rafael Cepeda is facing charges of felonious assault. He resigned from his position yesterday after being with the sheriff's office since 2012. 13 ABC talked with the victim, who said he was just trying to walk home when he noticed a police cruiser parked in the middle of the crosswalk on Broadway in Logan. That's when he tried walking around the front of the car to cross the street. He says the deputy then allegedly directed a racial slur towards him. The victim says he yelled back at the deputy, and that's when the deputy allegedly ran over him.
I don't know whether it's specifically him that just didn't like me, my color of my skin, or whatever it was. Just ridiculous that in 2018 that there's still stuff like this going on. No matter what somebody says to somebody, it doesn't give you the right to try and run them over with your car.
Court documents say Cepeda drove off but later returned to the scene. As for the man that was hit, he was taken to the hospital with his injuries and expected to be okay. Cepeda is currently out on bond and is scheduled to be back in court on January 25th. You may have seen the videos online of people fighting back against those porch pirates, or even a local video here of two men attacking a man who allegedly stole from their liquor store. But how far is too far when it comes to protecting yourself or your property? Well, we asked that question to authorities, and they say there's really no cut and dry answer. But people do have a right to protect themselves. Police say it's just a matter of whether those actions cross the line.
I think every situation is different, and I think you have to put down what would a reasonable person expect. We don't want to have vigilantes, would be an important thing. We don't want people taking the law into their own hands.
Now, if you ever have a fear that your life or someone else's life is in danger, authorities say call 911. Well, people with travel plans for the New Year holiday will be dealing with Jack Frost. The winter storm that has been hitting parts of the country doesn't plan on easing up just yet. John Lawrence has more on the Arctic blast.
Whiteout conditions in the Midwest. More than 100 miles of Interstate 80 in Nebraska closed for hours because of the snow, wind, and ice. Wisconsin roads are also getting severe snow.
It was a little sloppy getting your car. You need an extra 5 minutes at least, if not 10.
Intense storms in parts of Texas, including one responsible for toppling over a billboard in the Houston area.
My bedroom windows were facing the storm. It almost looked like it would come through my window.
These rough conditions are likely going to cause nightmares for people traveling over the New Year's holiday.
There's other people that just don't slow down, but if you take your time and take it easy, you'll get where you're going.
Blizzard warnings are in effect for roughly 1 million people in Minnesota, Nebraska, and the Dakotas. Flood watches and flash flood watches are in effect for more than 20 million people in a dozen states, including Alabama, the Carolinas, and Georgia. Atlanta, the city with the world's busiest airport, could see half a foot of rain by this weekend. That will likely result in nationwide flight delays. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Ross, looking like we'll see any of that storm out this way?
Well, that system right now is impacting us just in a different way. It's mild, and we're on the warm side of that system. It's pumping in temperatures in the 50s this morning. Maybe you grab the umbrella just on standby this morning. Let's take a look here at radar. And we have had some of those issues with a couple of those showers in spots here this morning. About a ½ inch of rain overnight, but all in all, most of that rain is out. And again, as we mentioned, it is mild out there. Do you need the coat this morning? Nope. Really, you probably don't need to bring it if you're just heading out this morning, but later on today, it's going to be much colder. So if you're going to be out around 4, 5 o'clock, and I know many of us will, then you want to have the coat on standby. Right now, we're sitting at 53 in Toledo, 54 in Port Clinton, 50 degrees in Bryan. It really feels more like an early September morning here for us, early to middle part of the month even, but we're not. We're sitting in late December, almost going into January, of course, and those temperatures will not stay this warm for long. In fact, you see the tumble coming right around noon today. We'll be at 57, 52 at 3 o'clock, 46 by 5 p.m., and 7 o'clock tonight down to 42. The wind's picking up, so the wind chill by that point will be in the 30s. You'll want the coat by that point. Let's take a look here at that. We'll get to the weekend forecast here coming up in a few more minutes. Let's go back inside to Heather. She's got a look at your Contrada Law time saver traffic.
Thank you, Ross. Still quiet for us out on the expressways right now. We've been crash-free all morning long, so a pretty good start to our Friday morning drive. Taking a live look here, 75 at 475 right here in Toledo. Things are looking pretty good for us. Maybe you're heading toward downtown Toledo in the next couple of minutes, heading off to work. If you're driving up from Perrysburg on I-75, it's about a 7-minute drive, 19 minutes to get you between Bowling Green and downtown Toledo via 75 and 475. Looking pretty good for us here between Sylvania and downtown. It's about a 10-minute drive for us right now. That's a check. Your Contrada Law time saver traffic.
Well, straight ahead, a special tribute plan for the Queen of Soul. Plus, accusations mount against Kevin Spacey after he released a mysterious video on Christmas Day. And a Grinch on the loose in Toledo after stealing Christmas gifts right out of a family's home. Accusations continue to mount against actor Kevin Spacey and honoring the Queen of Soul one more time. Here's ABC Marcy Gonzalez with those stories and more.
Plans are underway for a special tribute concert honoring Aretha Franklin. The big event is set for January 13th at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. Alicia Keys, Kelly Clarkson, and Celine Dion are among the stars set to sing some of the Queen of Soul's biggest hits. Franklin died in August of pancreatic cancer. The event, being put on by music mogul Clive Davis, will be broadcast later in 2019. Las Vegas goes all out every single night, and New Year's Eve is no exception. Lady Gaga will be performing as part of her residency at the Park MGM Casino. Gwen Stefani will be at Planet Hollywood, and Bruno Mars is performing at the T-Mobile Arena. The city's expecting more than 300,000 people to gather on the Strip Monday night to watch the 8-minute-long fireworks show. The Massachusetts man who says he was groped by Kevin Spacey in 2016 says he caught part of his encounter with the actor on video. According to police reports, the then 18-year-old man sent a Snapchat video to his girlfriend showing the incident. Spacey's lawyers argue there is not enough evidence for their client to be charged. His arraignment is set for January 7th on a charge of indecent assault and battery. And happy birthday to Dame Maggie Smith. The British actress turns 84, and Denzel Washington is celebrating his 64th birthday. That's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, if you are planning on celebrating the new year, a local group in Wood County wants to make sure that you get home safe. It's called Swallow Your Pride, Call for a Ride, put on by Safe Communities of Wood County. Now, if you find that you can't drive yourself home on New Year's Eve, you can call to get a free ride home. That's within 10 miles of Bowling Green. Now, the group tells us that they'll be willing to stay out past 4 a.m., all to make sure that you get home safely.
New Year's Eve is fun. We have a lot of fun New Year's Eve. Everybody's happy and, you know, but go out and have a great time. But if you don't call us, call someone. Call someone to make it home safe. We don't care who it is, cab, friend, whatever. Just make it home safe.
If you think you might need this free service, all you have to do is call them at the number you see there on your screen, and it might be a good idea to even save that number in your phone. Well, tonight you have a chance to win hundreds of millions of dollars. That's because the Mega Millions jackpot is up for grabs. It's worth $348 million. Now you can catch that drawing right here on 13 ABC tonight at 11. 13 ABC is your official lottery station.
Now, 13 ABC First Warning Weather with meteorologist Ross Ellet.
And right now it's just about 6:16 out there. We are looking at some mild conditions, temperatures in the 50s. And you know what? It was this time last year that all of a sudden that really cold air moved in, and we didn't get out of that pattern for a couple of weeks. We had a record low last year on this date. It was 8 below zero as we were waking up in the morning. 8 below. And this morning we were about 61 to 62 degrees warmer than that. Let's take a look here at Doppler radar. Still tracking a few of those light showers from Tiffin over to Sandusky and Norwalk. There really won't be a whole lot of rain left over here as we head throughout the morning, but an isolated shower is possible in spots. Right now, 53 in Toledo. South wind at 9 miles per hour, fueling all of that warm air around the area. And we're going to continue to see some of those muggy conditions here over the next several hours. Warm conditions as well, 57 degrees for that high temperature right at noon. But notice Hillsdale at 48 degrees. Most of the area is still warm. Our high temperature again right around midday. But coming up, that cold air trying to sneak in here. And we're going to have that late this afternoon into this evening. Down to 46 here in Toledo by around 5 o'clock. Hillsdale in the 30s, and that cold air sweeps in later this evening. So again, this morning, do you need the coat? I don't think you do, but later today, you're going to want it. The wind's also picking up and gusting to 30 miles per hour with some of those cooler conditions. So already by around 3 to 4 o'clock, certainly by 5 and 6 o'clock tonight, it's going to be chilly enough to want to throw on that coat, no doubt about it. An isolated shower possible this morning, but for most, the rain is done. In fact, we're going to see a little bit of clearing try to move in. Maybe a few rays of sunshine sneaking through late this afternoon and evening. Overnight tonight, the clouds are back. So is the colder weather, and the winds, well, they'll stay up here overnight tonight. You know, sustained winds right around 20 miles per hour is certainly a possibility. And tomorrow, cloudy most of the day, but a little clearing coming Saturday evening into Saturday night. and that means sunshine sticking around for your Sunday. Today, 57, the high midday, but look out late today. The winds pick up and the winds will switch direction, pushing in some cooler weather. Overnight tonight, 30 for the low. That doesn't seem that bad, but we're going to have the wind chill down into the low 20s, so it'll feel about 35 degrees colder late overnight tonight compared to today. Tomorrow, 36 for your high, a west wind around 15 to 20 miles per hour. And that forecast as we go into the weekend, calm and cooler, 41 for that high on Sunday. Rain is likely on Monday. New Year's Eve will be at 42 degrees. This will be all rain. And going into New Year's Day, just in time for 2019, the cold air is back with a high of 35 in the afternoon. But what about around midnight as we welcome in the new year? At temperature about 34, and right now it looks like we will be dry at that time. So a wet Monday, but the showers moving out just in time for the new year, and a few flurries are certainly possible on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and probably beyond that. We will stay dry. So we're going into a very calm pattern coming up, but it will be colder and temperatures will be closer to average for this time of the year, which is around 33 for the high. That's exactly where we're going to be coming up next Thursday. Our average low, believe it or not, is in the upper teens to around 20 degrees. So again, we get back to average next week, but it's going to be a tumble here with those temperatures in the days ahead.
All right, Ross, thanks. Now we're going to check in with Heather. She has your Toledo Law Time Saver traffic.
Yeah, it's still a nice and easy commute to start off your Friday morning drive, but once we get to the other side of the new year, we're going to be seeing a full road closure here on Dorr right over I-75. This is the same project that was expected to start in November, then it was pushed back until December. Now it's expected to start January 7th according to ODOT. So that's only a week and a half away. Drivers in this area, once we do start to see that closure here in both directions, it's going to be in place for 300 days. So something that we're planning ahead for sure in that area. As far as the expressways go, still dealing with wet roads out there. Traffic still building in all areas, but still not seeing anything to slow you down. That's a check. Your Toledo Law Time Saver traffic.
Big problems for tech giant CenturyLink. It's been working to get its service back to normal in dozens of states. Here are your Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a nationwide outage for CenturyLink.
The tech giant worked through the night to fix an internet outage that affected customers across the country. The outage also blocked 911 emergency service in at least 4 western states, and it caused some bank ATMs to stop working. That Fortnite problem we mentioned yesterday didn't seem to do too much damage.
In fact, the game's maker had quite a year. Epic Games says it banked a $3 billion profit in 2018. The company is now said to be valued at about $15 billion. And Instagram learned a quick lesson when it tested a new feature.
Users revolted when a tap to advance feature replaced scrolling, which didn't allow them to move through their main feed. Instagram says the problem was caused by a bug. It's now been fixed. And they say restarting the app should return things to normal. Thank goodness.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a fantastic Friday, the last one of 2018.
A Toledo Rocket headed to the big league. Steve Slifka has the story in sports straight ahead. Welcome back. You're never more than a few minutes away from your weather and traffic together. And we start with meteorologist Ross Ellet. Good morning.
And good morning. We're tracking just a little bit of leftover rain all to the east of I-75 near Tiffin and Norwalk. Sandusky dealing with a couple light showers this morning. That's about it, though. You have had that rain overnight. About a half inch of it has actually fallen here for us. Here's a look at where we're going for today. We've got a lot of warm air around the area. 53 is your current temperature in Toledo, 54 in Findlay. Right now, we're well above our average highs for this time of the year, and we'll be climbing up to about 57 degrees. If you haven't downloaded the First Warning Weather app, now's a great time to do so. Not only do you get that hour-by-hour forecast like this, but you can track those showers, and we've got a lot of them on the way for New Year's Eve. So if you're doing some traveling right around New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, that'll certainly come in handy. Those temperatures for today getting up to 57 at noon. Now this afternoon, they'll begin to tumble all the way down to 42 by 7 o'clock with some breezy conditions moving in. So the chance of rain, though, will be confined to this morning, but we do have more on the way, as we mentioned, coming up on Monday for New Year's Eve. We'll talk more about that in the minutes ahead, but right now let's go over to Heather with a look at your Toledo Law Time Saver traffic.
Thank you, Ross. Yeah, we've been crash-free all morning long on the expressways. That's still the case for us right now at 625, not dealing with any big trouble spots to slow you down. A closer look at the high-level bridge here, both directions moving nice and smoothly for us this morning. And taking a look at our expressways as well, 75 and 475 right here in Toledo. You can see that shine on the roadways. They're still wet for us here, but still not dealing with any issues. Hopefully it stays that way for us through rush hour. That's a check. Your Toledo Law Time Saver traffic.
Well, what's the Toledo Rockets men's basketball team doing with their winter break? Steve Slifka has your morning sports.
The Rockets are back from the break for the holiday. Penn next on the schedule tomorrow at Savage. Todd Kuehnlein gave the guys 7 days off from campus, which he says doesn't really happen at the Division I level.
Coach said it before he left. He said try to run 3 miles a day. You know, I tried to stick to that as much as I could. I think I did it every day but one, and I think a lot of our guys did that as well. And everybody knows what's at stake here. You know, we're in the hunt. We're going for that MAC championship. You know, MAC plays right around the corner.
We got good guys that care about this program, and you know, I try to give them their space. I text them only once, just to remind them. Other than that, just they needed some time away from me, and I probably need some time away from them too.
Breaks are good, right? Speaking of the Rockets, junior wide receiver Deontay Johnson announces through Twitter yesterday he is skipping his senior year at Toledo so he can enter the 2019 NFL Draft. Johnson is the second Rockets wide receiver, that is, to leave early. Eric Page, of course, the first. Big weekend of bowl games. We have the Wolverines tomorrow in the Peach Bowl against Florida, and obviously in the Rose Bowl game, it is the Buckeyes and Washington, that one on New Year's Day.
Well, the president continues to double down on the border wall funding. Just how long will the government shutdown last? And Sears may call it quits as soon as today. Stay right there. We have another half hour of news straight ahead.
Live from Toledo, this is 13 ABC Action News.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's December 28th. I'm McKenzie, Keyline. Jeff and Sasha have the morning off, but I'm joined with meteorologist Ross Ellet. And Ross, we were mentioning all morning, might be a good idea to keep that winter coat close by, even though right now it doesn't really feel like you need it.
Yeah, you can just carry it in your arm as you head out the door, maybe put it in the front seat of your car. But you'll want it later this evening. That's when the temperatures will drop back once again. Maybe a little bit of rain this morning. We'll start off here by looking at Doppler radar. You can see a little bit of rain back into Erie and Huron counties. Also a few sprinkles left over near Tiffin and just to the east of Fremont for this morning. But the big story, it's the mild temperatures. 53 right down Toledo, 52 Napoleon, and 54 for the Flag City over to Fremont and Port Clinton. So again, a very warm start to the day. Everybody between 50 and 54 degrees to start things off. We'll be around 57 degrees for that high right in time for the lunch hour today. Yeah, there may be an isolated shower still left over for this morning, but this afternoon turns colder and windy. 20-mile-per-hour winds at 3 o'clock, and you can see the impact of the breeze late today. Will be down to 44 at 6 p.m. Wind chill dropping into the 30s. That's when you're going to want that coat. And we'll talk much more about what the rest of the weekend holds in just a few more minutes. Let's go over to Heather now with another look at your Contrada Law Time Saver traffic.
Thank you, Ross. I am tracking one trouble spot now on the expressways. All of this happening on southbound I-280 right at Manhattan. That's where Toledo police are on scene of an injury crash. Southbound I-280, they're right at Manhattan. They tell me that no lanes are closed because of this, but they do have medical on scene there. The good news, we're not really seeing this impacting traffic just yet here. We've got southbound I-75 heading toward I-280. You can also see southbound here also heading toward that interchange. We're not seeing traffic backing up in this area. If that changes, we'll be sure to let you know, but drivers in this area just need to be aware of that crash. Again, southbound I-280 right at Manhattan. That's a check your Contrada Law Time Saver traffic.
Today was supposed to be the final day to check out the Toledo Christmas weed, but turns out this morning it was stolen. Our camera was rolling as it happened. 13 ABC's Michael Bratton was there. Michael, what all happened?
Well, McKenzie, it was a very kind of strange set of events here. We had just finished doing one of our live shots on the Toledo Christmas weed. We were out here, of course, originally this morning telling you just what you just said, Kenzie. It was the last day to come out here and see the Christmas weed because tomorrow this is all set to be cleaned up by local Boy Scouts. But after one of our live shots, we're sitting in the live truck, right? And we see, take a look at some of the video here. You can see it. A gentleman pulled up to the Christmas weed itself, got out of his car, grabbed in some items right where the Christmas weed was, grabbed them, put them in his trunk, and then took off. So, of course, our photographer, very quick with the camera here, grabbed it, recorded it as that gentleman snagged the beloved Christmas weed itself. We walked out to the pedestrian island here, the crosswalk island here at Alexis and Secor to see it for ourselves. That Christmas weed, it's gone. There are items still out here, though, from the gifts, decorations, all the other fanfare that built up around that simple little Christmas weed itself. Those are still out here. So if you want to come out here and see those, today's the last day to do that because, again, it's all going to be cleaned up. If you do remember, the Toledo Christmas weed started out right before Christmas. It's about a week or so before. A man came out here, put some tinsel on it. It exploded. People came out here to see it, drop off gifts and presents. The community also rallied around it, dropping off goods and donating goods to go to local charities and food banks in our area. Had carolers, its own ornament, its own shirt. This was quite a big deal, made national news as well. But now the Christmas weed is officially no more, as it appears a gentleman came out here this morning and snagged it. The items itself are still out here. The weed is gone. So if you want to come out here and see that, today's the last day to do that, because tomorrow it's all set to be cleaned up. McKenzie.
6:34, and in your crime and safety alert this morning, Toledo police are looking for the suspect involved in a stabbing that sent one person to the hospital. It happened near the Lorraine Hotel on Jefferson Avenue just after 6 last night. Still not clear exactly what led up to that stabbing. If you have any information for investigators, you're asked to call the Crime Stopper hotline at 419-255-1111. More than $2,000 worth of toys and Christmas gifts all stolen from a Toledo family's home on Christmas Eve. Now Toledo police are trying to track down whoever stole them. Nicholas Clausen says that he celebrated Christmas with his son on the 24th this year. They opened the gifts that morning and then attended dinner later that evening. But when they came home, they say they noticed someone broke inside.
I turned on the light in the living room. All the electronics were gone, every video game console, every video game. They cleaned out brand new toys, everything out from under the tree, and kicked in the back door.
Nicholas is now trying to get the word out about the stolen gifts. He's even visited some local pawn shops. Toledo police are still investigating, but as of now, they don't have any leads. In your health alert this morning, the official start of the 2018-2019 flu season is here, and the CDC says its most recent flu report showed a rise in flu activity. The 7th flu-related pediatric death was also reported last week. Health officials say it's too soon to talk about just how severe the virus will be this year. So far, it's been driven by school-aged children. The average flu season lasts 16 weeks. We are now in day 7 of the partial government shutdown, and officials say will likely continue into the new year. That's because much of Congress still on their holiday break. The Senate adjourned after just 4 minutes, leaving negotiations between the Democrats and the president in limbo over funding for the proposed border wall. That means a lot of those federal employees are still off the job.
Tuition starts back up at the end of January for 2 children. So yes, I was saving, but I am saving a little more.
The Senate and House are now scheduled to reconvene next week. If there is a deal to end the shutdown, lawmakers have been told they'll get at least 24-hour notice before having to return for a vote. We are now taking a look at some of the areas that are closed because of that government shutdown here locally. Some national parks or historical sites are running into some problems. The Fallen Timbers Monument and battlefield areas are open. Perry, Victory, and International Peace Memorial have areas accessible to the public, but that could change at any time. The Small Business Administration is closed. Farm service centers and some agricultural department operations will also be shut down, and the IRS, they have furloughed most of its customer service support staff. Now, there are several things that you don't really have to worry about when it comes to this government shutdown. As far as Social Security checks go, Medicare and Medicaid, that will not be affected. The U.S. military will be on the job and paid at normal time. Mail delivery, though, through the U.S. Postal Service will also continue as scheduled. Now here's a look at what's new this morning. We are learning more about a Guatemalan boy who died in a U.S. Border Patrol custody. Medical examiners say the 8-year-old boy you see here died in New Mexico hospital on Christmas Eve. The boy and his father were detained at the border after they traveled thousands of miles from the family's home in Guatemala. This is the second child to die in U.S. custody this month. People across the country are mourning the loss of America's oldest World War II veteran. Richard Overton died in Austin, Texas, Thursday at the age of 112. He was also the oldest living man in the U.S. Overton volunteered for the Army in 1942. He joined an all-black aviation engineering unit and then later served throughout the Pacific. Sears may be down to its final 24 hours. That's because the deadline to submit bids for Sears is today. Sources tell CNBC that as of yesterday afternoon, financing wasn't lined up. Sears may still get a buyer for the entire company, or it may just be split up by liquidators. Sears files for bankruptcy in October. From there, we want to get a check of your forecast with meteorologist Ross Ellet. Good morning.
And good morning. Right now, we do have a couple showers mainly to the east of I-75, but not a whole lot of rain left over. But it is warm right now. We're in what's called the warm sector of that big storm system back off to the north and west. So right now, conditions outside are mild, probably warm enough to where you want to leave the coat at home. But I would advise maybe just taking it with you and just putting it on standby. You may not need it this morning, but this afternoon and certainly this evening will be a different story. Right now, 53 in Toledo. We're at 54 in Bowling Green and in Fremont. Temperatures through the day today climbing up to about 57. We'll get there right at the lunch hour. But notice the slide in the temperatures coming after that. 52 at 3 o'clock, 46 by 5, and 42 at 7 o'clock. That comes with a lot of wind later on today as well. So again, temperatures starting off mild. They'll end up pretty cool though for this evening as we drop back down into the 40s. The rest of the weekend though, 36 for Saturday and 41 coming up on Sunday. A great travel weekend is taking shape for the last weekend of 2018. And here's a quick look at how the year is going to go down month by month. There's obviously 12 months in an entire year. 8 out of the 12, though, have been warm, and most of them very warm compared to average. But then we have 4 months that are quite cold compared to average as well. Maybe the most notable transition, that April to May, where a lot of folks were complaining that we just didn't have a spring. Well, that was basically the case this year as we went from very cold conditions. Winter held on very late all the way through the month of April, and then all of a sudden May arrived and summer was here to stay. The hottest temperature of the year, Memorial Day, at 98 degrees. We'll have much more on this coming up on 13abc.com later today. Right now, let's get you caught up to date with Heather. She's got the latest on your Contrada Law Time Saver traffic.
Thank you, Ross. Yeah, I'm still tracking one trouble spot out on the expressways. All of this happening on southbound I-280 right after the 75 I-280 interchange. So we've got an accident there right at Manhattan. The good news, we're not really seeing any impact to traffic in this area. We're still seeing all green in all directions here. And taking a live look with our live action cam overlooking 75 at 280, we do have some flashing lights in the southbound lanes here, so it looks like they may have closed the right lane there as drivers are heading toward I-280. So drivers need to use a little bit of extra caution in this area. Starting to see maybe a little bit of congestion. I wouldn't call this a backup just yet. Of course, if anything changes, we'll be sure to let you know. That's a check. Your Contrada Law Time Saver traffic.
It's a picture going viral online. You'll never believe what a dad did to spend Christmas with his daughter in the local time to our area. Plus, what's the story with the big blue light spotted over New York City? We'll explain in just 2 minutes. Now to a story making national headlines. A dad booked multiple connecting flights, all to be with his daughter on Christmas, who is working as a flight attendant. Now the picture here going viral online, and the man who snapped the photos happens to be from Sylvania. Mike Levy had a seat next to Hal Vaughn on a Christmas Eve flight from Fort Myers to Detroit. That's when he learned that Hal didn't have a real final destination. He was just on the flight to be with his daughter, so she didn't have to work alone on Christmas. Now Mike posted the heartwarming story along with those photos to Facebook, and it's gotten more than 180,000 likes, hundreds of comments, and 37,000 shares.
Absolutely amazed. Never thought that they would get national coverage, especially, but not that one post would get so much attention. They honestly thought that they wouldn't see me again, and here we are.
Wow. Well, Mike says that he's been in touch with Hal's daughter, Pierce, and the new friends plan to get together real soon, especially since she lives close by, just up in Ann Arbor. Pierce and Hal, they will be on Good Morning America today. That's coming up in just 20 minutes.
Now, 13 ABC First Warning Weather with meteorologist Ross Ellet.
Good Friday morning. It is 6:45 on the dot right now. Here's a look back at 2018. I know we've got a few days left to go, but generally it has been a warm and has been a wet year. Over 37 inches of rain so far. We have got more for the final day of the year coming up. But obviously we'll remember all that summertime heat. 98, the hottest day on Memorial Day, but it was cold during the early part of the winter. In fact, it was very cold about this time last year. We started that big stretch, 12 days here, where temperature did not get above 20 degrees. The lows many times were down below 0 degrees, including on this date we were waking up with a morning low temperature of 8 below 0. This morning, we've got a couple light showers around the area. It feels more like a May day, and also those temperatures are sitting, roughly 61 degrees warmer than where we were a year ago. Right now, 53 degrees to get the morning started off. South wind at 9 miles per hour. We don't have a wind chill to worry about outside at this point. As we head late today, that's when that chill begins to arrive once again, at least cold enough to where you're going to probably want that coat. Again, this morning, you can probably just carry the coat out the door, put it in the front seat of the car and worry about it for that evening drive home. But again, the temperatures will cool off, not for the lunch hour, still very warm. We'll be at that high of 57 around that time. A lot of mid-50s around the area, but notice Hillsdale here at 48 degrees. That is a sign of things to come. Everybody slides back into the 40s as we head into the afternoon coming up for today, including mid-40s here in Toledo. Look at that, Hillsdale down to about 38 by 5 o'clock for tonight. Well, 5 o'clock for this evening, rather. And then overnight tonight, those lows bottoming out close to 30 degrees, just below the freezing mark to start things off for your Saturday. Those winds will stay up, sustained around 20 miles per hour at times, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And that means it's going to feel even colder later this evening. But by tomorrow morning, the wind chill down into the lower 20s. Predictor by the hour showing a few sprinkles, an isolated shower at times, but generally just clouds coming up for the morning hours. You see a couple little showers trying to move through, about a 30% chance for some additional raindrops on the way. But coming up for this evening, and late afternoon, evening, about the time we're cooling down, we get a little dry air to sneak in. We might see the sunshine break through for about an hour or so before the clouds return tonight, and it will be cloudy for tomorrow with some of that cold weather arriving. But a little clearing here coming up later for Saturday night is also a sign of things to come going into Sunday. A lot of sunshine will arrive for us, and it'll be a calm weekend, great for travel for the final weekend of 2018. 57 degrees for today, winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour, and colder for this evening, much colder tonight with a wind chill into the low 20s. We'll have a low right around 30 degrees. And for tomorrow, 36, plenty of clouds, westerly wind at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And those temperatures climbing a little bit on Sunday, more sunshine with a high of 41. 42 Monday, rain is likely. Final day of 2018, showers are expected, but by the time we get to midnight, the rain will shut off. It'll be colder. We'll be around 34 degrees at midnight going into 2019. Only a high of 35 on Tuesday with a 20% chance for a few snow flurries. But outside of that, calm but cold weather here to start off the new year. 28 for a high on Wednesday, 33 on Thursday. And by the way, Thursday, while it looks cold, that is our average for this time of the year.
Wow.
Lows in the upper teens, highs just above the freezing mark.
All right. Well, thanks, Ross. Now we're going to check in with Heather in your Contrada Law Time Saver Traffic.
Still tracking one crash out there to start off your Friday morning, and that's all happening on southbound I-280 right near Manhattan. That's where Toledo police say they're still on scene of an injury crash there. They say one vehicle hit the barrier wall, and we actually have some lane closures in place now in that area. So we're looking there, I-75 southbound as you're heading toward I-280. We've got that right lane closed right there. So drivers need to use a little bit of extra caution. The good news, and you can tell right here with our live action cam network that this isn't really affecting traffic too much. Drivers still getting through there okay. Just make sure you move over, slow down, make sure you give those emergency crews plenty of space to work. That's a check. Your Contrada Law Time Saver Traffic.
Few things make New York City come to a standstill, but this bright blue light in the sky did just that. Authorities say it was an electrical surge at a power substation in Queens. The fire even caused a power outage at one of the biggest airports in the country. ABC's Linda Lopez has this developing story from New York.
The skies over New York City lighting up Thursday night. A bright blue light, like a scene from a movie, seen for miles, from Queens to New Jersey. Countless videos like these posted on social media, leaving people confused and questioning what they were seeing.
I thought it was fireworks going off, and I looked to my right, and I saw just the yellow sparks in the sky. It looked like blue fire.
It was insane. It was a really weird blue color, too. I was like, aliens are here.
The New York City mayor's office confirming authorities are investigating a transformer explosion at a Con Edison power plant in Queens' Astoria neighborhood.
Well, thankfully, the NYPD and the FDNY were here pretty quickly and got it under control. The fire seems to be out.
Power temporarily went out at part of LaGuardia Airport, but has since been restored. The FAA shut down operations at the airport temporarily for an inspection. Arriving flights put in a holding pattern.
You could see just like this electrical explosion going on over there.
But the airport is now up and running. Throughout Queens, residents reporting scattered power outages, but no reports of injuries. Our ABC station, WABC in New York, reporting that blue color of the explosion made more intense because of cloud cover over the city. Linda Lopez, ABC News, New York.
The battle over the proposed heartbeat bill in Ohio comes to a head. We have that story and the rest of your top headlines straight ahead. If you're just joining us, we want to get you up to the minute on the latest headlines. Something you'll only see here on 13 ABC. Toledo's famous Christmas weed was stolen this morning. Our crew was there, our cameras rolling as a man pulled the weed out of the ground at the intersection of Secor and Alexis, then put it in his trunk and drove off. Many of the decorations at the site, though, are still in place. State lawmakers in Columbus were one vote short of overriding Governor Kasich's veto of the heartbeat bill. It would have banned abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected. Governor Kasich said that he vetoed the bill because he believes it's unconstitutional. Gas prices remain low around Toledo and Northwest Ohio. The average price is below $2 at $1.97 for a gallon of regular unleaded. The lowest price you'll find in our area this morning is $1.73 at the Sunoco on Telegraph, and the highest is $2.19 in Pemberville.
And if you're heading out to work in the next couple of minutes, no longer seeing anything to slow you down out there. We did have a little bit of trouble on southbound I-280 right at Manhattan. That looks like that crash has cleared. So right now, our expressways are crash free.
And temperatures right now very warm, into the low to middle 50s already this morning. Doppler radar showing most of the rain is out after about a half-inch of rain overnight. A little bit of drizzle near Sandusky, but that's about it in our local area right now. 53 degrees in Toledo, 54 in Bowling Green, Findlay, and in Fremont. Port Clinton's at 54. Everybody's at least 50 degrees. 50 is the cold spot in Monroe right now. And your 7-day forecast showing 57 for the high today. Now that high will take place during the lunch hour right around noon or so. After that, cooler weather, breezy conditions move in for the afternoon. So you probably aren't going to wear that coat as you head out the door this morning. Or if you do, it's probably going to be a light jacket. But later today, it might be more handy to have that coat ready to go, especially by early this evening as the cold weather moves back in. Over the weekend, 36 on Saturday, 41 on Sunday. Rain is likely for the final day of 2018, but a few snow flurries could greet us as we head into the new year.
And coming up on Action News at noon, a frightening holiday for a Utah family. We'll tell you how a brand new toy led to a trip to an emergency room. Now you're up to the minute. 13 ABC Action News will be back today at noon. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend. GMA is up next.
This is home to breaking news first, on air, online, on the go. 13 ABC Action News.
This is home.